Hi, everybody. I'm intuitive medium Sandy Duncan with my wonderful friends from Rescue Mediums. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes with the Rescue Mediums. Please help me welcome Alison Wynne-Ryder, Jackie Dennison, Edna Dargie, and Michael Lamport. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Here we
Hi,
go
Sandy.
again. I love the episode. I love them all, but I really like this one. It took place in Oakville. And it was a husband and wife who owned this particular home. And this episode I found fascinating because the spirit actually was part of the family. It was part of the lineage of the husband, correct? And the way that was woven through the storyline, I thought was absolutely incredible. But, you know, as usual, you start us off with the premonitions. In this case, a lot to do with water. And as the story unfolded, Jackie, you had physical effects of the spirit. You were feeling them. And Alison, you were too, and your voice even changed.
I know, it was bizarre, wasn't it, Jackie?
Yeah, I know. You start, I remember when I watched it, you suddenly, here's Alison who talks like this, you know, and suddenly, here I am in this now. It's like, oh my God, she just have a sex change?
So my hair's going funny in here.
Is it?
Yeah. I feel like my voice is really deep.
Your voice sounds very funny, actually.
I feel odd. Yeah, I feel like I should be talking really deep.
You don't normally talk with a deep voice.
Not like this, no.
They're altering your vocal cords. I feel jumpy next to you.
Really?
Yeah, as if something's going to happen and I need to be just like stood back a bit.
It was like a gradual, it sort of came on quick, but gradual at the same time. And I thought, what's going on? And then you said, oh gosh, your voice has got really deep, didn't you?
Yeah. That was scary though, you know.
It
was
must
like,
have been for you.
I got really quite unnerved because I thought, you know, there's something going on here that's not normal. Alison doesn't normally speak like that. And when you are channeling spirit energy, you certainly don't, it's your voice, but this was so different.
It was different. It felt odd.
It was like
it felt
really, but all
really
of you, you know, your appearance sort of changed a little bit as well. It was like almost like you became this other persona.
Wow, gosh, that must have been creepy. Yeah.
Everything speaks to the authenticity.
Michael laughing there.
Yeah,
it felt weird. My throat felt weird. Just, you know, and I didn't know what was going on at first because I think up to that point we'd both experienced. Didn't you get a whack on the head, Jackie? And I got pain in my ears or something. So there was.
Alison, somebody just hit me in the head here. Oh. It was just as if, you know, if you walk into something and you smack your head, it was just like that, as if I'd just walked into something and like a sharp pain at the side of my head.
As if you'd hit your head on something.
So, yeah.
Oh, got like a stabbing in my neck.
There was a lot going on, and then this joined in, and then it was very odd. There was a lot going on in that house, and the homeowners were. They'd felt and heard and seen spirit in there, a male spirit, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I feel very anxious when I come into the house. My stomach, I can feel it contract when I come in the house and I feel nauseous. I'm always looking around because I know that there's someone watching me or I'm going to see something.
Quite often hear pacing up and down this corridor.
You can actually hear the floors.
Yeah, the floors are creaky.
I've also seen a spirit sitting downstairs in the lazy boy while we were watching a movie, and he actually turned to look at me.
Well, this hallway, we usually see a lot of activity. There's normally a shadow or hands on the door frame.
Yeah, it was a very sort of anxious feeling. And we did have, in the premonitions, we did have feelings of drowning, water. I think you had nightmares. You picked up on somebody having nightmares, Alison.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
An expanse of water that I felt was very significant.
The ship that sunk in a storm.
Someone's having nightmares, someone's having really bad dreams in the property.
Sometimes the dreams that I have are very strange. I'll dream about wolves, or being drowned, or being attacked.
Which was Cornelia, I think.
Cornelia, yeah.
And I think, you know, it affected both of them, Brian and Cornelia, but her more, because she obviously, she is a sensitive, isn't she? And it was really frightening for her. I mean, we were only, you know, we went in there as long as they'd been living in the house. So you can imagine, I mean, it was unnerving for us, even though we do what we do. But for them, it must have been horrendous, you know?
Yeah.
But one thing she said, and I had to look it up, she said she saw a male spirit in a lazy boy. And I thought, what's a lazy boy?
A spirit sitting downstairs in the lazy boy while we were watching a movie, and he actually turned to look at me.
So I had to look it up. It's a chair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, lazy.
I thought it was like a toilet or something. I thought she'd seen a male spirit on the toilet. I thought, is that what a lazy boy is? So I had to Google it.
Oh, God.
Alison, you also had 3 little bears in your premonitions as well. And we got to see that come true.
What was that, sorry?
Oh,
You had
yes.
3 little bears in your premonitions. You
Oh,
drew 3 little bears.
They were on the bed, weren't they, Jackie? 3 little bears.
Yeah.
Oh, the teddy bears.
Are these 3 bears a manifestation of Alison's psychic drawing?
Incredible.
Yeah, that's why I love your drawings, Alison, because they tell a story. So, have you got it there, Edna?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a photocopy and it's not a very good one, but maybe you can pick up on it.
There they are.
There they are.
Yeah, in the middle. Yes.
Yeah, it's very faint, unfortunately. The photocopy wasn't as good.
Yeah. But they were lined up on the bed, weren't they? You know,
They were.
and your drawings are big clues as to what we're going to find when we get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my drawing isn't brilliant, but I love the fact that Ruby gives me clues, and each one's titled as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what's that one?
Expect the unexpected.
Ooh. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
You've
I don't
drawn a
remember
boat
seeing
on
that
there,
one.
look.
I don't remember that one. Yeah, there's the boat, and you got the boat on the prams, and I've drawn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really salient. Was it salient?
It was.
Sail, boat, salient.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got it. We should use that.
That was
in the
bad,
pun.
wasn't it? That was a bad joke. Sorry.
No, that wasn't bad. That was a pun that we missed. But it was a very salient point. That's what we should have put at the end. But we did ice cream instead, which was okay.
When you do the reboot of this episode, you can use that.
There's one other one here that's interesting. I don't think it appeared on the show. Cutting through time, and there's a hand reaching out of the water. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes. I don't remember that, Jackie, do you?
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
we were spot on, you know, with our premonitions and everything with the, you know, well, we usually are. But with this one, it was like we really sort of connected, didn't we, with everything that we got.
Yeah.
Would that image have been one of him after the destruction of the boat, like getting out of the water? Because he did, apparently, right?
Yeah.
In the 1919 or something, and then his wife died, as you said, Sandy, you know, to the day later, but he actually survived the accident, didn't he, in the boat?
Yeah, there's quite an art, actually a 4 or 5 page article that was written in the Daily Times in Oswego, New York, about the sinking of the boat, and they give a lot of detail of what had happened. What was your question about him getting out?
No, but he survived the shipwreck.
Oh,
Yeah, he
yes.
did.
Huh?
Yes.
So what my question was, the drawing, the psychic drawing of the hand in the water
Yeah.
is symbolic of the man surviving the shipwreck.
Yeah, and Jackie saw him. Because you were with him, weren't you, Jackie?
Yeah. It's a really stormy night. Something's gone down. The ship's gone down. I'm coming out of the water. I've been on board a boat. I'm coming out of the water with him. He's got like a white shirt, but it's heavy. The fabric's heavy,
Right.
and it's clinging. But the interesting thing was, I was experiencing that, but then, Alison, you were experiencing his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I was doing the physical, and you were with his feelings and what he was
Yeah.
feeling, because I think you said like he was like desperate, and there was despair because he was looking for someone.
That's right, because he kept saying, "Where is she? Where is she?"
Yes.
He was.
He and Alison prepare to focus their psychic powers.
I've just heard a man say, "Where is she?" That's all I heard. But it's more of a feeling of absolute desperation, like a lost feeling, like a feeling of being ripped apart from somebody.
Oh no.
I'm picking up on feelings. And I heard a man say, "Where is she?" As if he's looking.
He was looking for, obviously, his wife, wasn't he? We found out later on, but obviously at the time we didn't know who it was. So
Yeah.
you're right. And I think that's how we linked in to actually tell the story, which was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And very romantic. I mean, if you look at the episode, it's quite romantic.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's scary in the way that rescue mediums can be scary because it's the supernatural.
Uh-huh.
But you guys made it very romantic, I think, with the connection with them.
It was the love,
Really
he loved her so much and he wanted to find her.
Yeah.
But Brian, the homeowner, because obviously this what was his name, the guy that we rescued? John somebody, and you got the name John, didn't you, Jackie?
I did, yeah. John.
Brian thought that he drowned, but he actually hadn't. He didn't know that he'd lived, but he started drinking a lot of alcohol and he was a mess, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
While he was stuck, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing that because when we're doing the investigation and the rescue, we're just communicating with spirit, and we didn't know that he was actually related to Brian, the homeowner.
Well, no, we didn't.
It's Edna did the family tree, didn't you, Edna?
That's right. And I always, when I visit homes, I always do a family tree, as well as researching the land and checking all that out. But this is one of the few times I think that actually it paid off doing the family tree, because it was a family member. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something like a 3 times great grandfather.
Yes, that's it.
Brian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he recognized it, didn't he? Like,
He knew his story.
When you told him that, he realized that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
If I say Captain John Thomas Beard,
Wow.
does that mean
Yes.
something to you? We thought it was.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Wow.
So he is who?
Well, he's down my family tree a little
He
ways.
certainly is.
The rescue mediums believed that the troubled male spirit was one Captain John Beard, the homeowner's great-great-great-grandfather. Captain Beard was born in England in 1834. In 1870, the captain and his wife immigrated to Canada. In the late 1800s, the Beard family established a business running a two-masted schooner named the Baltic.
He was definitely a captain on the Great Lakes,
He certainly was.
and he was lost at sea.
If I told you that he was not lost at sea, would you be interested in learning more?
Yes, please.
On November the 24th, 1894, the Baltic ran into a fierce storm in Oswego, New York. The vessel was destroyed.
This man was then coming out of water. His clothes were wet. I could feel the heaviness of the fabric. I felt as though he'd been on board a boat and the boat had sunk.
While all members of the Beard family survived, the ship was their sole source of income. Its destruction left the family penniless and destitute. Jackie and Alison believe that Captain Beard never recovered from this tragedy.
Hello?
His health steadily declined, and on April the 7th, 1909, he died.
We felt
Well, it's interesting that Brian himself was at one point he worked as an archaeologist and underwater, and he did all the underwater diving of shipwrecks.
wow.
And
I've forgotten that, yes.
and it would have been actually even he did it in the Great Lakes, so it would have been even where that ship went
Yeah.
down. I'm just looking at the notes when I interviewed him, and he said his passion lies underwater, finding and identifying shipwrecks.
What about
Wow.
the synchronicity with that?
And he's
Wow.
always studied shipwrecks.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's amazing.
Amazing.
Now, do you think
Yeah.
you've been influenced by this spirit to have that interest?
Possibly.
His great-great-grandfather was trying to get his story across because he wanted to find this. He wanted to find his wife. He wanted to make that connection, but I think he also wanted his story told.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew that down the line, his family members, his descendants, thought that he'd died in the shipwreck. They knew about the shipwreck. They thought he died in the shipwreck.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, he hadn't. He survived it. So maybe he just wanted his story to be put straight as well.
Jackie, could you describe, because I think there's twice in this episode where you actually reach behind Alison to feel the spirit behind her. Could you describe what that actually feels like when you are feeling a spirit around Alison or around anywhere?
You've got somebody stood behind you.
Oh,
Right behind you.
Yes, I can feel the cold creeping up. Male or female?
Male.
What's he doing? Check round the back of me.
Oh, yeah.
There's something there.
Going now, isn't it?
It's just starting to
Lift.
That's a really good question, because Alison's was aware that there was someone there, and so we use our hand chakras to gauge, and you can feel the energy. You know, you can feel. So if I was to do that on my hand, I could feel my body heat. You know, but and if you do this with your hands, your energy field is very. You can feel it. You can sense it. So it's not just your body heat, it's your energy field. And it's the same within a building. You can feel the energy that comes from that spirit. And the only way I could describe it is a heavier feeling. It's a heavier energy. So if I was to do that through the air, there's no stopping it. But if I was to do that and come across another energy, you're aware of the energy change. So that's the only way I can describe it, really. But it was definitely there behind you. And you felt it, Alison, didn't you?
I did. I felt it. I really did. And it's sort of like a little bit like, you know, when somebody physical walks past you as well, and you feel like a draft. It's sort of like that feeling, but more intense. And I could feel it behind me. And then when spirit are around me, I tingle from head to foot. But this was like a really intense, deep feeling. So I knew it wasn't a particularly good feeling, because obviously we were picking up on his angst, weren't we?
Yeah.
You know, that's how he was feeling, and he was getting more panicky as time went on, and we picked up on that. But yeah, it was like, whoa, you know. And sometimes it can be like cold, can't it, Jackie? You know, you when you feel, it's like, whoa, that sort of temperature drop, you know?
Yeah.
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 Well, for the viewers of this and the wonderful viewers of Rescue Mediums, when you've just said, Alison, that you sometimes feel a tingle from your head to your foot, they would be more familiar with your expression, oh, I got a tingle down my spine. Because that's what you normally say.
Shivers, isn't it? Shivers.
Shiver down your spine.
It
Yeah.
shivers down the spine, isn't it? I think, isn't it? It shivers down the spine. Because we got T-shirts done, didn't we? Mine said shivers down the spine, and yours,
right.
yours was having a cheers, was
I'm only here for the booze.
That's it. I'm only here for the booze. That was really clever.
Talking of shivers, the arrival was a very cool beginning, wasn't it?
It was an ice cream van.
The rescue mediums are already en route.
Well, this is fun, isn't it?
It's a cool way to travel.
It is. It's a very cool way to travel.
Jackie and Alison are renowned psychic mediums who spend their days and nights showing wayward spirits into them.
It was great. That I love that. When we managed to secure that arrival,
It's amazing.
I can't remember how much we paid the guy, but it's so good because, again, like we always say on this show, on Behind the Scenes, the only thing that is fabricated in Rescue Mediums is the arrival and the cheers. Everything in between is absolutely real, completely real.
Absolutely.
But the arrivals are so much fun. And arriving in an ice cream truck, first of all, it's absolutely absurd, but very, very funny. It's just like, I need some mediums to come to my house to get rid of spirits. How would I get them? Oh, in an ice cream truck. And other shows, in a fire engine or a police car. What?
Or a hearse. We did a hearse once, didn't we?
And I think that we do that in the show just to really, hopefully, show the viewers that is completely fabricated and the ending is completely fabricated, which I believe gives credence to everything in between, which is completely and utterly real. There are no second takes. It's just like you guys go in, the camera people follow you, the sound people follow you, and we get what we get. And I hope that viewers realize that about the show, that the content, the valuable content of the show is completely true and not fabricated. That's, I think, the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
Well, as a viewer, I can tell you, the fact that you all made me laugh and cry and worry about you, I think speaks to its authenticity as well. But I always thought the beginning was a false sense of security for what was coming next, like a roller coaster going up.
Yeah.
And as the rescue started, I was down the hill, but I was on the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that when you're doing it. Because you start off with the arrival, and then you're sort of thrown into a situation you don't know what you're going to walk into. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's to do with the homeowners, to do with the house, to do with the land. You don't know where you're going to be working. So even though we get the premonitions as to what's going to happen when we get there, what we don't want to do is to make the premonitions fit to the situation. And so sometimes we even question, are we making this fit? Are we making this because we've got this in the premonitions? But then, no, you're actually experiencing that. And we always say to Spirit, give us some more information so that we know this is not us, because we're only human, So It's not us putting our spin on it. This is actually what you have experienced when you lived on the earth plane. So give us some more so that we can piece things together. And then Edna does a brilliant job of piecing it all together.
She absolutely does. And it just shows how genuine the process is, doesn't it? The fact that we do question, and we're not just assuming that the first thing we're given is like, we're, and then like you say, there's Edna writing it all down.
You know something, in retrospect now, with you both talking like this, is as a producer, I wish that in the credits that roll, as everybody knows what credits are, director of photography, blah, blah, producer, blah, 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 starring, blah, 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 is that we should have had a special thanks credit for your 2 or more spirit guides.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice idea, Michael.
With a special thanks too.
Yeah.
And people will go like, what is that? Oh, that's our spirit guides,
Well, maybe if we get renewed, we can do that. If we get renewed, we can do that.
Yeah, because that would be nice.
Yeah.
Like giving them a nod, because they are so significant in what you do.
Oh, yeah.
And premonitions and everything.
Without a doubt.
And protection.
Edna, can I ask you something quick that just occurred to me? So in this episode, and in a lot of them, we see Jackie and Alison physically reacting to spirit. And we know that you were there taking all the notes, and Michael was with the crew. And did you or any member of the crew ever physically feel spirit as well?
Absolutely. I personally have. And one of the greatest stories that I think we talked about before was when Mike Dringer, who was one of our DOPs, actually dropped to the floor because he was feeling some sort of spirit influence. Wow. And of course, the second camera person, as a good camera person does, just kept rolling as he hit the floor. It wasn't like, oh my God, is Mike okay? It was like, no, keep rolling. So he was okay. He was totally okay. But I have felt stuff, and I think Edna has too.
Yeah. In many different shows, not as much in this one, I think. For me, it was gentler. And again, as I'm busy taking notes, I think my pencil lead grounds me or something, and I'm more oblivious to actually experiencing something. But and also, when, for example, when that Alison, when you felt that presence behind you, it all became all part of the way things are done. It wasn't that unusual, I guess. Everything was normalized for us to a great degree.
It is odd doing a show like this where, like I keep saying, and I will always say, it's very, very real and in this corporeal existence, and you experience these things like, this coldness that comes through your body or this whisper by your ear. It's so hard to explain, but as Edna says, both Jack and Alison know this so much from what they do, but it does get normalized.
Yeah.
You're sort of like, okay, yeah, we're going out shooting today. We're going to do this. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably going to hear somebody whisper today, or I'm going to get a kick in my head. you sort of go like, okay.
Yeah.
It's part of the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually par for the course for us, Jackie, with what we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It does make you hypersensitive to everything though when you do this kind of work. Because you're very tuned in to different frequencies, different energies. So if somebody else makes a sound, so physically one of the crew makes a sound, they'll say, that was me, just so as we can rule it out. Or, if my stomach rumbles or or Alison's stomach rumbles, we'll say, oh, that was me, it was me, because we're very, very sensitive to sound, and we're very sensitive to movement, quick movement. So, because you're seeing a vibrational change. And that happened on this episode, that happened in the basement. Do you remember, Alison? It felt as if we were on a boat. It felt like we were rocking on a boat.
Yeah, I think you felt that more than me, because you had the boat thing all the time, with you throughout. So he was giving you that.
I feel decidedly odd in here.
Yeah,
to be
I do.
honest. I feel dizzy in here. I feel a little bit sickly in here. And I've got this pain at the side of my neck here. I really feel very out of sorts. It feels almost like a cabin. It feels as though we're in a cabin on a boat.
But do you remember, I'm just thinking about this now, and I don't know where we were in the house, but it sounded like a growl, and we both heard it at the same time.
Yes.
I can't think where we were. Do you remember?
What's that?
Did you hear that?
I did.
Has the troubled male spirit returned?
Ooh. What was that?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I think it was coming from downstairs.
The rescue mediums returned to the base.
Very loud, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the crew heard that, but we both heard it. We both reacted at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
But that's what makes the show fascinating. To film, to do, to everything. It's because this stuff actually happens. Now, I wish people could see it when it happens, but they can't.
I think that's what's so great about how you do the reenactments, Michael, because we're seeing it here in our mind's eye, and we're experiencing it sort of like having a daydream. You can see this here. You're physically here, but you're somewhere else, and you're seeing something else, and you're feeling something else. And then, but it's with us. So Alison can link into me, and I can link into her. We can both see the same vision or experience it, but coming from a different angle. But for the viewer to be able to see what's here, you do a tremendous job. With
the reenactments are important for the viewer because they can't see, nor can I, what's in your heads. But your description, that's what you see. You see this man coming out of the water. So we, as producers, have to show the audience that's what our interpretation of what we're seeing.
I'm coming out of the water.
Like, it's not 100%, and it's not invalid, I think. It's just like they're seeing somebody come out of the water. So we'll show people, because audiences need to see things, right, on TV. It's a visual medium. Medium. Yeah. It's you have to see the stuff.
And the reveal does the same thing emotionally and physically for the homeowners.
Yeah.
And that was a lovely one as well, wasn't it? As well, because it was, Michael, as you said, it was a love story. It was a love story, and it was the love of those two people who wanted to find themselves. And Brian and Cornelia's, the love that they had for each other, I think that spilled into the home. There was so much loving energy there within the home that has to have helped.
Yeah.
He kept them going back to these images of his wife and how much he loved her, and he couldn't find her. He didn't know where she was.
He's looking around for somebody. Where is she?
And there's a lady that's opened the doorway. And we knew then that he was looking for his wife. He couldn't find her and he was trapped. So we had to try and get her to come to him.
His wife Sarah never remarried. The cause of her death was determined to be cerebral hemorrhage. She died on April the 7th, 1928, 19 years to the day after her husband's death.
Absolutely. I feel that. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
could see that with those two, couldn't you?
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I think Cornelia had said that she felt as though she was anxious that there was some sort of was there something in between them, and she was worried about losing Brian. I think, wasn't she, Edna? Did I get that right?
That rings a bell. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and so when the story all unravelled and it made total sense, I think what was so sweet was she just kept looking at Cornelia, was looking at Brian the whole time. You could just absolutely
It
feel that
was.
love between those two.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A gorgeous couple.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we should do a cheers to them.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Even,
Yes.
even though Cornelia's English, nothing against English women, of course. I would never say that
That's
on
as
camera.
well.
Oh, did I just say that on camera? Here's to Brian and Cornelia.
Here's to Brian and Cornelia.
And Cornelia,
Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Mm. Perfection.
If you enjoyed watching Behind the Scenes, please like, share and subscribe to veryparanormal.com, the portal for everything paranormal, where you can watch every episode of Behind the Scenes and every episode of Rescue Mediums, plus so much more. And it's absolutely free. You can't get much better than that. Cheers.